What's something people don't know about podcast disclaimers? They're the ultimate cover our butts move. All right, folks, let's get real. You know those disclaimers at the start of podcasts? The ones that say these opinions are our own and not our employers, friends, or anyone who might sue us. Yeah, those. Why do we need them? Because Stacy and Casey here, well, we might say something bonkers. And we don't want you blaming our bosses, our moms, or that guy who bagged our groceries last week. Nope, it's all on us, people. Think of it like this. We're just two dudes with microphones and way too much free time. And while we're at it, let's be clear. Our jokes, rants, and random thoughts, purely our own genius or nonsense. Depends on the day, so sit back, relax, and remember, if you're offended, it's definitely not because of our employers. It's all Stacy and Casey, baby. Covering our butts, one disclaimer at a time.
What it do, baby?
What it is, Jive Turkis.
I'm Stacy.
And my name's Casey Falkengren, and we are
The Stacy
and Casey Show.
Yeah, baby.
And I might be all pretty face and beautiful hair on the outside, but like most of you, I'm relatable and crying like a little bitch on the inside sometimes. How about you, Stacy? Just
Joyous. I don't know what to say to that. I got real deep real quick,
it
guys.
just hit me out of left
you know,
field. I was like, man,
you know.
just wanted to come out.
Oh, wow.
But the
Coming
little
out the
bitch is
closet?
out, and I'm good now. No, it's been, man, I feel like I've been getting my ass kicked all day, just one thing after another.
We
Goes along with the
appreciate
theme
you.
of the last 4 shows, not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the topic we're going to talk about today, I think we're going to get a lot in a little. So it's one of those things that not having a lot of time in the day and you try to research and you find yourself down a rabbit hole and then the grass doesn't get cut. And that's that's kind of where I'm at right now.
It's definitely a
go cut the
rabbit
grass.
hole. And so other than our regular life, which is beautiful and boring at the same time, we are going to be talking over a topic today that our friend Amy,
Beautiful. Routine is not boring. It's beautiful, but not boring. Our lives are routine, and that, you know what that means? We did it right.
boring is good. I'm not saying it
I'll
is a
tell
bad
you.
way.
The new generation of kids nowadays think boring's a bad thing. That's
No.
consistent, steady, secure. That's great things. Just saying.
I get lost in the garage and I sand a handle. You know, look at that.
A new project. Who's that for? Who's that for?
That's for my mommy. Hey, mom. Yeah, this one has a leather in between the wood and yada yada yada. So it's been taking up my
pretty
time.
nice
So not
right
boring,
there, guys,
great
ladies and gentlemen.
therapeutic.
But what Casey was getting into, what you seen at the opener?
Yeah, the Red Shoe Society.
The Red
Shoe Club. And you know what? Even saying those words is probably going to block us on a lot of social media. But I brought a small hint of this to Stacy once. I think we're talking about Tom Hanks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Castaway.
He said, talk to Stacy about this. And I was like, all right, I will.
Talk to Amy.
Yeah, Amy. That's Stacy. So you guys look exactly alike.
And you'll see momentarily. So
Speaking of
we could be
which,
twins. We could be twins.
Amy, come on the show.
So everybody, welcome Amy to the show.
Hi.
Hold on. What do we gotta do? She tried to hit us with she's got a migraine, before coming in. That's code words, and we don't like that.
Well, she doesn't want everyone knowing that she has a migraine. Now they're going to be looking at
No, that means that don't get her heated. Casey, that was the warning. Don't get her hot.
She's always heated.
This is
That's
a
what we love
hot
about
topic.
her.
We got a hot topic today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
So, in a nutshell, Amy, what would you say the Red Shoe Club is?
Well, it's a satanic ritual performed by the elite, and the red shoes are made of leather, made from, the skin of sacrificed children. It's very, very ugly, very dark.
I want to play the video that led us down this rabbit hole, and this is one that, for those who don't understand, I want to put this in perspective. This video is from 1993.
1993.
We're in 2025, and I want you to think of everything that this person is saying And then we're going to go back to what Amy's talking about, the Red Shoe Club, so you'll have a little bit better understanding of what their agenda is.
Yeah, it's a very short video.
To enslave your child, your wife, your mother. There isn't anything that you ever had. There isn't anything that you own. There isn't any right that you possess that they're not planning on taking away. Sheeple. Your sheeple. And your children are going to be slaughtered if you go along with the program. It's time to wake the town and tell the sheeple. We're being led like sheep to the slaughter. What is the purpose? A new world order. The United States of America is controlled by this evil archy. They control the money system. They control the State Department. They control the presidency.
So they have a plan to give us a new age world global occultic religion. They're going to have been deceived so greatly that they'll actually think it's something good. In fact, the whole New Age movement, the New World Order crowd is telling people that the 666 mark of the beast is the most elite thing that could ever happen to them.
No cash. Cashless society. It's ready to go. Disease could be created. In essence, this is what he was saying.
We have new strains of virtually everything that's drug resistant or drug free.
I'm not worried about the old diseases. I'm worried about the ones that they create to bring down the population of the world. They simply want to exterminate them, but that they consider them to be useless eaters.
Words are very important to the Illuminati. These things are manufactured purposely for a purpose. And so I'm saying that there is something organized and directed, and it's here in this country.
Future shocker biochip. And this is what Anthony showed you earlier, a biochip. That's an injectable computer chip, an economic mark in the back of our right hands or in our foreheads.
You've got a choice. You can join in this fight, or you can die as a slave.
Or you can die as a slave.
Die as a slave. And
I
there's
just
been
wanna-
a lot of childhood deaths. in
Well, I'm going
Hollywood.
to say, first and foremost, from that video, the first thing I think of is cryptocurrency. Cashless society, digital currency, and that's on the agenda. That's a big thing. People talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum. People talk about how you can transact it, how you no longer need cash. That's a cashless society. So when we look at some of the things said here, there are true facts behind that are already in effect. So as far as
It's like a propaganda overall type thing, but as far as like the Red Shoe Club specifically and what it indicates is kind of going down that whole what's the name of that stuff, Amy, that goes in the blood?
adrenochrome,
The adrenochrome.
Chrome? Yeah, so from what I understand, to get adrenochrome in your blood, you have to prep the blood by scaring, torturing, something that makes like a chemical happen in the blood that makes it feastable and that keeps you young,
the
and
fear triggers it.
a fear, yeah, triggers it.
Mhm.
And there's
Yes.
spectacle deaths. Like who was that one story who's the whistleblower?
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. How old are you, Amy? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 44.
You're
Similar
my age,
age
so
to
we know
him.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Oh my own baby.
Home Alone was our shit.
Fuck
Oh my
yeah.
god, every fucking Christmas we watched that fucking movie, and every Christmas it was the best shit in the world.
I remember walking around my house thinking about how can I Jimmy rig shit in here if shit goes sideways. And I lived in a fucking apartment.
Yeah, I was Macaulay Culkin. And then now I can't watch Home Alone 3 without thinking he's seen some shit by now. he was a bright-eyed little bushy-tailed kid in Home Alone 1. Home Alone 3, he was just
He's
he,
been through
he was
some
looking
shit.
over his shoulder.
And it's funny because I actually have a few images here of some of the statements that Macaulay Culkin has
Macaulay Culkin.
stated.
This is
Give
when
me one
Macaulay
second.
Culkin was saying this shit when he was 36 years old. So it's not like he was incoherent, but
Correct.
definitely after his drug abuse.
Give me a minute. It's not going to let me pull it from here. So we have to try another route. But keep talking, you guys. So fill us in,
Okay.
Amy. What do you know? Like, I know at the beginning, walk us through some of those photos. I know that we had a lot going on.
There's a lot of
That's right.
photos.
It's not
Um,
really the Amy. What about? I mean, the stories that Macaulay Culkin said, like the one about. Did you hear the one about him going
Yes.
backstage?
yeah,
I
so
think
basically when he was 11 in New York filming the Home Alone 2 movie, he was approached by a top executive to go into a back room, and basically the executive was, hinting that he wanted to do sexual stuff with him, and he goes, "Dude, I'm 11. I don't understand why you're asking me to do XYZ." And he said, "Well, look at my shoes. Have you ever seen leather shoes like these before?" And he was just looked down, and they brought up Heather O'Rourke, the girl from Poltergeist, and he goes, "Yeah, I remember watching Poltergeist, and she was a cute kid in Happy Days." And then pretty much the cat was out of the bag that the shoes were made from her skin because, they tortured her, sexually assaulted her till she died. That was pretty much a
She was raped.
confession. Yeah,
Yeah, she apparently was the rumor is that she was raped to death and
yeah,
he said on his shoes were made out of her skin. And I heard and that was coming from Macaulay Culkin's mouth, and I've read it a few places online and watched a few podcasts, and they were describing he did it with a French on over the
yes,
phone interview,
yep,
and it was only online for less than an hour before they took it down. But they said that he was escorted to this room with his top exec,
mhm,
and he told him how the business worked, and he implied that he wanted him to leave his parents, and he would take pretty much parental rights over him and like make the decisions for him and everything. And he said, "Dude, I'm 11." And then he called him handsome, and he said at that point he was just trying to think of how he can get the fuck out of there. And he said
yeah,
he recognized pedophilic activity like licking the lips, shortness of breath. He mentioned all this stuff, and that dude was having it.
yep,
And do you remember
It's
what he pulled out of his bag? The exec pulled out of his bag
yeah,
a crack pipe, and
yep.
he tapped it against apparently against his genitals and wanted him to smoke it. And it, dude, it's real shit. And if you were just to walk up to somebody on the street,
here. I got us. Yeah, this is actually. I'm waiting on it to load in so you can. These are quotes, literally from Macaulay Culkin, and I'm going to play them as an overlay while you guys continue to talk. Let our readers actually see it. But I was 11 the first time I saw it. I was film. Oh, give me 1 second. That was way too quick. So, and we'll clip this. I know that I made it a little quick, but it's basically everything that you guys were going over as far as he licked his lips and told me I was very handsome. And these are things that are disgusting. And hey, Nick, you are correct. The Red Shoe Club. That is exactly what we're talking about.
Red Shoe
So
Club.
it is
Mhm.
crazy things that I'm learning about, and it's opening my eyes to think that there are people out there that are literally making shoes out of human skin. Now, what can I ask? What is the purpose of this? What do you feel is? I know we got the adrenochrome talk, but what do we think is the purpose? Why are they doing this? Why are they wearing them out in public? Why are they
It's for
advertising?
power and domination. It
It's
shows
a trophy.
trophy
It's
and
a
it shows that
trophy. It's to show that they were willing to complete the task because it's a ritualistic
What was the
act.
task?
Well, when you're sacrificing a child, again, it's a satanic ritual. They hang the child upside down,
heard about
and
that.
usually they slit the throat and the blood drips down. So, that's when they're doing the adrenochrome. And then the making of the shoes is symbolic to they completed that task. They want that honor, which to me is not an honor, but to the elite.
You had a video you sent me about the
Yeah.
little girl that was talking about her dad that made them, and I'm gonna post that to the
Yeah.
Facebook page. Things are a little longer, so I don't want to, you know, post them on here. Obviously, take up a lot of time, but what honor? I guess in the group because I know they were talking about Steven Spielberg being a member
Yeah.
of this group, a member of
Yeah.
this society, and
Allegedly he
what
could
is
be the one that was behind the
Yeah.
scenes with the
He was the one that did that to Macaulay Culkin, allegedly.
allegedly, that's what I heard too.
is that why he moved to France? Talking about Macaulay Culkin, I know he moved there in
He moved to
Yeah.
France
2004.
2002 or 2004.
2004.
hmm
So it's just these are things I'm wondering, and what are things that we should watch out for? Better yet, how do we join the club?
Well, it seems like a lot of the childhood stars that died, a lot of them died of drug overdoses and
Casey's
suicide.
halfway there, guys. Casey's halfway there.
And they did mention how drug overdoses and suicides kind of like the number one thing that you can age. And it seems
hmm
like a lot of these deaths were like in their 20s when like they wanted to come out and maybe whistleblow on some of these people and they were killed off. And I'm not going to
hmm
name all the celebrity stars. Man, it's just
I
there's
mean, in
so
the
many.
beginning, we played a few, and I always thought it was funny because if you watch the opener again, you'll see there's Hillary Clinton walking out all happy and waving, and then you got Bill like, shh.
Dude, and
Mhm.
the Black Eye Club is also part of it.
Elon just joined that.
Yes.
He was on the fucking press conference there, standing next to the president with a fat ass black eye. Donald Trump even said, "We offered him some makeup. He didn't want to cover it."
That's to me fucking weird with everything that I heard about now. And
Mhm.
the podcast that I saw, the girl brought perfect sense to it. When was the last time you had a black eye, and when was the last time you went out on to like publicize it, right? You don't just see people walking around with black eyes, especially celebrity figures that are protected more than anybody.
And how did you get a black eye? Like
You-
you just said, you're protected more than anybody. Who gave you that black eye? Now that goes into the panda theory, which I know Amy can tell us about that. Where I'm sure you know where they SA you until your eyes bulge out of your face and your eyes turn black. Am I right? Isn't
Sodomy.
that what they say it is?
It's sodomy. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to get it's essayed online.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we've all but I wouldn't want to die that way.
well,
no.
I just say, what do you think about this? And I know because you're a big conspiracy theorist, and I'm happy to have
I
you
have
on.
those too. Shit.
And with what's going on with Trump right now, right? With him and Elon splitting, Elon coming out and saying Trump ain't releasing the list because he's on the list. Russia offering asylum to Elon Musk after Elon Musk has been given all of our personal information.
Yeah.
What do you kind of think is the long-term effect? And did he join one of these clubs, Elon himself, or is that the rift here? Is Donald Trump mad at Elon for joining one of these clubs, or like what's the whole get up here?
Well, I think the Red Shoes, the Red Shoe Society, the Red Shoe Club. I wouldn't tie it into Russia right away.
I wasn't tying it to Russia. I was tying it to Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Yeah, but I mean that we're talking about an elite Hollywood society of like
Donald Trump is Hollywood.
yeah.
Donald Trump literally had an award-winning TV show.
Okay, so Elon had a black eye. Black eye. Man, I gotta quit running those words together. So that means he's part of the Red Shoe Club?
I'm asking.
I don't.
I'm asking because the black eye is part of this society, is it not?
I would think, man.
I'm asking Amy. Amy knows a lot more about this.
I would say, I think I even told you guys, I don't trust Elon Musk. I never had. I know a lot of people wanted to believe that he was kind of be like a savior or whatever. To me, the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk is a chess game, and they're just acting out to distract the attention away from worse things that are going on. It's like a movie that we're watching, and they're only giving us little bits and pieces.
We'll never know the real
Well,
story.
did you hear about the whistleblower that came out of the Doge files with Elon and said that they were finding it very odd that within 15 minutes of them creating usernames that nobody knew except for that room for hack purposes or whatever, that Russia was able to hack the files within 15 minutes.
It doesn't surprise me.
But then you think about with him being offered asylum in Russia,
Yeah.
all the information he has that he was in the White House. Could this have been a long time play by the Illuminati to take down Trump?
Sure.
What I mean,
They're in
there's
control.
all types of things to look at.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in control.
What do you think they control is the question? Because what do they control in our everyday life?
They said that the Red Shoe Club in that video, they control politicians' presidency, right?
They control everything, Stacy, because they rule off of blackmail, right?
That's Messiah.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
The money, the power. I mean, that's all it is power, money, greed, control of
Diddy part of
us.
I'm curious, was Diddy a part of the society?
Absolutely.
Because
there's a picture of him wearing the red shoes that I sent you. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. But that's why I'm curious, because when we talk about this, if they're the world elites, why are they following?
Why are they following? Because they want to be part of it.
No, I'm saying falling.
Oh, falling. I'm sorry. I thought you said following.
I think about the Mark of the Beast and Amazon having their Amazon stores where you can scan your hand. I think about Elon Musk and Neuralink, right?
Right.
And that is actually a link in the middle of your forehead, or it can be placed in your hand. And then I know there's a lot of theories that people talk about iPhones and right, Eve biting the apple and Adam biting the apple and the
Mhm.
iPhone being the root of all evil in your hand and how
Yeah.
that is, you know what I mean? And I think about
Yeah.
this long term, and you think about the video we played and how it plays into the world elites literally
Yeah.
manipulating the world around us.
Well, sure.
Who's to say right now? What if we're watching good versus evil, and it's really the Antichrist portraying himself as good, saying, "Hey, I'm trying to bring people together. I have the mark of the beast with the, I've been shot in the ear. They say that the beast will be shot in the head and will not die, and they will use it to gather followers, and people will rally behind them."
Yeah.
What if that's Trump, right?
It could be. I
Or
mean, what do we know about the Antichrist?
we know that he will have a mark of the beast. He will be attempted to be shot in the head, and the people will rally behind him,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We do know that he'll be a man of many tongues, which I think at a
Mhm.
point in time, how many languages Donald Trump speak?
I don't know
I
that,
don't know.
but I
That's what
I
I'm saying. So
do.
I think it falls short, but
Yeah.
Elon Musk speaks multiple languages.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of this is somebody was saying that they're lining it up to be a dictatorship so Baron Trump can take over and kind of go back like that book, The Adventures of Baron Trump, and how there'll be a
Yes, I
one world.
did see that book. Yeah.
And it makes you wonder when you talk time travel, when you talk all the things that could be real. Donald Trump's father getting Nikola Tesla's, technology,
Mhm.
and the fact that Nikola Tesla came out and said he discovered time travel. There's a lot of books that line up. So I mean, when we
Remember
get
the
into
pictures of Baron Trump doing the whole
yeah, that too,
yeah, and his
but
mom was like shaking her head.
knock his hands down.
I mean,
It's
we could talk
I
we
don't
could
know if
talk
we're watching.
all night about this because along with the time travel, they're doing what they can to create portals and they're blocking out the sun. You got to ask yourself, why are they doing all these chemtrails? Why are they trying so hard to block out the sun and these portals? I mean, do you remember what was that story about the alien that people saw in Florida at the mall?
Miami. I
Yeah.
believe that to be 100% true after going back and doing more research on it after the fact and kind
Mhm.
of going down
They hid
actual
that
people's
so well.
Instagrams that were involved with that.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, these were invisible beings that were channeling. They were like, the people were saying they were teleporting when they moved.
Yes.
They were like, flashing, moving there, like a static television.
Yeah.
And they said it was literally like watching a sci-fi movie. And the beings looked just as confused as the people running. That it wasn't like an attack. It was they were confused on where the fuck are we at. And then you get into the theory of the coordinates being completely reversed would land in
Mhm.
Antarctica. And then you
Yeah.
get into the Antarctic Treaty, right? I don't know if you heard about this, but this was the thing that blew my mind is how much is put into television. And then we go into the Red Shoe Club runs television. And then you go into they have to tell us before they do it. That's the basis of the Illuminati and things like that.
Correct.
We're being programmed from day one with Disney. I mean, I know you guys were getting big
They
into Disney.
they
I mean,
hide
not just
everything
Disney.
right out in the open.
Well,
Everything's
It's
hidden out in the open.
it's not just Disney too. Look at Ronald McDonald from McDonald's. You're getting a guy that looks like a clown wearing big red shoes. What's the symbolism there? To get your kids to want
heard,
junk, to
did you hear
take
Putin?
junk food. And how long was Ronald McDonald prominent on TV commercials? I know when we were kids, he
Putin
was
put
the
out a
number
statement,
one most recognized mascot was Ronald McDonald.
and I still
And
probably still
did you see the video of that rabbi that talked about what goes into McDonald's meat?
Yes.
Putin. That's what I was just gonna say. It was Putin came out and said, for all of you who want to know why the ingredients are different in our country than in your country, is because they feed you your own people.
Yep. And
That's
the
what
rabbi
Putin put
admitted
on that.
that.
Wow.
Like, it's getting real, and you got to wonder at what point what is real, what's fake. But I really will
Yep.
say they've proven McDonald's can be an addiction,
Yeah.
especially within
Mhm.
kids.
Do you hear this old recording of this Jewish guy going over about how they take the kids and all the leftovers, they crunch it. That's why they specialize in
Yes.
sausages and burgers. 'Cause they
One-
Yep.
crunch it up
That's
and
exactly what I was referring to,
grind it.
Casey. Exactly.
They also say that
Finkelstein
one
or
of the
whatever.
leading causes of starvation dementia and Alzheimer's
Mhm.
is cannibalism.
Yep.
They say you won't see those in societies that they don't practice cannibalism. You'll never see Alzheimer's or dementia. That's why you see old
Alzheimer's,
Russians, old
dementia.
Russian women, old Japanese women. They still have it all up here. They just don't talk. They become nonverbal, but they can still put themselves together. They know where they're at, and then
Hmm.
you start wondering why is everything different around the world than it is in America?
And on that note, eat healthy. Have some farm fresh eggs. I'll sell them to you.
And there you go. I will say at the same point, where can you not get it? The only, and this is the crazy part, is I was thinking about farm sourcing the other day, me and Asia, and you can go get a half a cow. You can probably get a half a pig. You got to have a place to store it, right? But where can I just go get farm fresh bacon? The butcher
Uh-huh.
shop I can go get farm fresh normally, but we're in the Midwest. How many farms can you just pull into as a person and just start buying shit that they have their own grocery store? And I feel like that's where we need to see more, especially being we're in the Midwest with dairy, we're with eggs, we're with corn, we're with wheat. Why can't we bring back the mom and pop grocery store where you went in and got fresh, everything fresh? Fuck it. If
Well,
everything we consume is human, which
yeah.
is what it sounds
I was
like.
gonna say, is just start by not eating people. Anything is better than that, but then
Yeah.
eat healthy, and that's even further good.
Yeah.
You
I
guys
mean,
know you're ready.
I'm fortunate to have family that's in Illinois and they're farmers. So I get a lot of my produce when I can. I get like they grow squash and corn, zucchini. A lot of the vegetables that my family eats is because my cousin
Yeah,
luckily married a farmer. But that's not
Also,
always accessible.
I've been dying for some farm fresh sweet potatoes. I had some a few years ago. You didn't have to add shit to it. They were sweet. Just
Oh
cook
my
them and eat them.
god,
You
those are
could
my
pick
favorite.
them up and eat them like
Dude,
fucking apples.
I'll even dabble a little bit of cinnamon in mine with a little bit of butter, and that's it. And it's
Yeah.
like having pie. And also, here's another hack: if you have little pods for your coffee and a Keurig, and the refillable ones, not the ones that you buy and just throw away. If you like put a little coffee in, put one little shake of cinnamon, put the rest of the coffee in, and use it. It's like a cafe from fucking Starbucks. It's amazing.
Who likes Starbucks?
Nobody anymore, but back in the day, we were like, "Oh, this is different than regular coffee. No wonder I'm paying $20." But now you can have that enjoyment with one little
Well,
cinnamon.
I'm starting to ask this question: Is America Babylon,
What's Babylon?
the end of the world, the lake of fire in the Bible when you come to Revelations, and it's like the old school Sodom and Gomorrah, but we're just the land of sin?
Yeah.
America's not
Why though?
recognizable in the Bible.
No, we're Babylon where we're all going to die one day. Yeah.
That's not Babylon.
Oh, what's Babylon again?
Babylon is when God comes back at the end, the lake of fire. He comes back to Babylon where it's turmoil, and he brings peace.
So he comes to Babylon, which is turmoil. So we're turmoil?
Are we not in turmoil? I mean, look at LA.
I'm not in turmoil.
Look at LA.
LA is
Right?
bringing it upon them damn selves.
But you can say that as a person in the Midwest. What
I know.
happens when it starts here?
I know.
Right?
Well, we don't have all the immigrants,
We do. We have a shit ton of immigrants.
but we're not fighting against the ICE when they come here to take them.
We don't know that.
Well, that's where we're red state.
My
We're
question
not.
is, why
We're getting
not though?
taken out.
Why not?
Why? Because why fight something that's fair?
Is it fair that people with their proper documentation are being taken out of their homes and deported?
Not probably. It's
Is
probably
that
like
fair?
it's probably like the movie The Minority Report.
I think that in Germany, people said the same shit when it wasn't them.
Yeah.
And then when it became them, all of a sudden it was, well, wait a minute. And I think this is the start. I think when we look at it, and I'm saying people with proper documentation, they don't have to be Hispanic. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of Asians, a lot of Europeans. There's a lot of famous
There's
people that have been
millions of people that
rounded
poured
up
over the border that
that
they're
are
trying to get over.
that I'm
back
saying,
over,
and
so.
no, these are people that aren't coming over the border. They're here legally, that are being detained and removed.
Yeah.
You're here legally. How is it legal that you're being removed? Make that make sense to me.
Show me an instance that you're talking about.
Well, first and foremost, the world's largest or the biggest fucking Instagram star right now is the African guy that's silent, worth over $20 million, was just detained
Mhm.
and he willingly left. He said, "All right, you don't want me here, I'll leave. I'll take my money with me,"
So he wasn't kicked out. He left.
because he was detained.
But if he
Again, you're
voluntarily,
skipping key points of this.
so why was he detained?
That's what he wanted to know. He was here
So
legally.
there's no answer. So they just detained him for the fun of it and said, "We're doing this because we
Again,
feel like it."
no, they're detaining everybody that's here is an immigrant. My question here is, and the reason why I bring this up is, you just had the president of Germany here in America, and what did he do? He handed Donald Trump his dad's or his grandfather's immigration papers. And I thought that it was excellent because it shows he's an immigrant. His family comes from immigrants. So to say that immigrants shouldn't be fairly here and go through the process, and when they do go through the process, which is what every Republican said was, just go through the process properly and we'll leave you alone. And now they've done it and now they're being messed with. That's a problem. That should be a red flag.
Well, I'm sure a lot of grandfathers of old presidents and our grandfathers, their grandfathers, I'm sure a lot of them were immigrants. That doesn't mean
America
that
wouldn't
makes
be
us
America
immigrants.
without immigrants.
Correct. That's the whole
So
point
when
of
we're
our
talking
country.
about, that's
Yeah,
the whole
so
point of my statement is all of them are here legally. You're focused on the illegal part. Again, focus on the keyword legally. These are all people here legally that are being detained,
Mhm.
sent to detention, going through months of due process, and they've already done all this and earned their right to be here.
if people came here legally and they went through the process and they're getting kicked out for no reason at all, that's wrong. I agree.
That's where
It
we're
is
at as a
wrong.
country.
And I'd like to
Oh,
know
that-
why is that happening too?
why is it
What are
happening?
they
Where is it
saying is
happening?
the reason for them being detained?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm not just going to assume it's
For them to
all
That's what
report
I
it,
alien.
they have to have something to answer for. You know what I mean?
$750 right now to report an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, if you want to be
Did
a
you know that?
Yeah, if you
No,
want to
did
be
you
a
know that? No, I'm asking you a question. Did you know that?
No, you're the
Okay.
first person to
So
tell
with
me.
that being said, think about swatting with video gamers, right? People online arguing, they hear something in the back, they call the police, and it's called swatting. All of a sudden, they have a problem at home. And now you're seeing the same thing with immigration. I can call and say Casey is here illegally. They're not going to go do the background. They're going to come round them up, and after they round them up, then they do it. That's the whole
Okay.
problem here. Is
So that's
it
what's
doesn't matter
happening
who's
is
saying
people
it.
are trying to get money,
That's
make
what's
a quick
occurring.
buck. And is
Exactly,
that
and
what
that should be a
happens to
red.
that do you remember the Mexican restaurant that had people detained? Do you
Elma
remember
Bly.
that?
Oh, she's talking about
Yeah.
Elma Bly and O'Fallon.
Oh my
Okay.
Yeah.
God.
Yes, he was detained. Somebody
Yeah.
swatted him, basically. He was
Okay.
arrested,
That's what I thought.
taken down. His whole family thought that he was kidnapped because he owns a
Mhm.
restaurant. Then gets out all of a sudden, and he's like, I was in detention, and they wouldn't let him reach his family. That this is a person that's been here in the States now for over 20 years, is a
Yeah.
legal immigrant, owns a whole entire restaurant in his name, and you came and arrested him.
So he got kicked out?
No, he's free after if I
But
came
the
and
point
arrested you
is
for some
he
shit you
shouldn't
didn't
have been
do,
detained in the first place.
exactly. You're like trying to find the loophole. He should have never been arrested. If
Yeah.
they did their job and seen, hey, this is a true outstanding citizen, he's a
Mhm.
good person.
Yeah.
There was a whole uproar in O'Fallon. This is happening all over the United States.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
and with all like the fastest and
It's
the
not
push that
hearsay,
they're
no.
making. Yeah, that's why I said it's like a minority report. It's gonna happen. You cannot get rid of this many people without there being
No.
mess ups in the thing. So yeah, the
No,
mess
but
ups.
there's just sometimes you can do shit right. There's a thing called due process that's in our Constitution.
I understand
Right?
that.
I'm going to tell you now.
Yet I
They
have
don't.
been.
If any agency besides ICE isn't busting your door down unless they know. Okay. Why is it all of a sudden ICE has free reign to hit any house? Why is it this? The guy that's running ICE can threaten to go arrest Newsom for some shit. Like, and I'm not saying Newsom's right or wrong. Where did you get this power to just say, I'll just come arrest you? I can arrest reporters. I can arrest politicians. I can arrest my enemies. I can get rid of all of my issues. This is a sign of dictatorship. And the fact that we're seeing little steps and we keep trying to find the loopholes in every little gray area to say, well, it's okay because of this. It's okay because of this. It's okay because of this. But it's not okay because we're talking about the shit that people are doing it right and still being a victim to it. That shouldn't be happening.
It's smart for you to be questioning it too, because
Sure.
until wait until they instill martial law, because when that happens.
Oh, it's coming. That's coming to California soon. There's too
I
many
know,
people here that
I
shouldn't be
know.
in that bullshit. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. Who are we to decide how many people should be here?
Well, the ones that came pouring over the border that they get
I
over the
again,
last 4
I'm
years
asking
should
is
be kicked
a
out.
number. Who are we to decide is what's too many?
The
Now,
ones that are
again, I
illegal.
believe that yes, you should go about it proper documentation, right? Again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't take people in. I'm saying that statement though is one of those that again you have to be specific. If you're coming here legally, why should we have a cap? We didn't have a cap for Ellis Island when people were coming from Germany, coming from Europe after World War II, World War One. Why are we capping it now when we're literally bringing in, while we're worried about all these other immigrants who are trying to get in legally, we're flying in South African whites for genocide, and it was 54 people.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Trump. We just flew in 54 refugees from South Africa, and
Oh,
we're
those
giving
those
them
were the
asylum.
those were the farmers that were being uh w- targeted
Which
targeted by their own government. Yeah,
crazy,
the
wild.
farmers.
All of South Africa, whites and blacks, are saying that's not true.
Yeah.
I heard a crazy
I
conspiracy on this.
remember
Is that
hearing the story.
some of the roundup agents that they're bringing in because they know that American soldiers will not round up American citizens because it's against the Constitution. But if we bring in soldiers from other land, we can round shit up. And I think it's crazy because I was watching the riots, and that's what one of my captions is when does a protest become a riot?
That was the big concern when the people were pouring over the border. They're saying we have militant-looking people pouring over the border.
Mhm.
So when they get, given the thumbs up to stay here, as long as they join the military or join the service, then that's people with no loyalty to the country that have no problem arresting somebody for unlawful things.
And that happened under
And that happened under Biden.
exactly. I'm just saying, I'm not against what you're saying. I'm pointing out all the facts of this is what's occurring right now, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing JD Vance talk about this tax bill, how it's horrendous, that's about to change. Trump wrote it up in 2017. Like I'm watching things that I'm starting to wonder, did Trump line up the world to where he was expecting to go 2 consecutive terms and all the bullshit would fall on the next president? And now he's having to deal with some of the things he signed off on, and he didn't really know some of the things he fully signed off on. And
I just try to think of what things would be like if they just kept going in the direction that they went in, and then compare it to like what's going on now. How concerning is it? I
I think
I
it's
still
very concerning.
I have not heard. I mean, other than the California stuff that I saw, and that's sad because I'm from California, so I hate to see.
Well, this is a big thing because
Yeah. Well, I just don't. I didn't hear about anything
that
until you're like, "Did you hear about Trump?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So,
well, you said to talk to you about it on the air and get a
yeah,
live reaction. You
totally.
also said that.
And that's what
So,
I'm saying. The very fact that you're the only
well, I
person that
want to
heard
point
it
out
tells me it's not very alerting.
that well, you also don't watch the news. You don't turn on the TV, and this is self-proclaimed.
to like
So
it.
that's something that I would expect you not to see if you don't watch TV. The other side of that is you have people that are being paid $6,500 to $12,500 out in LA to cause mischief. They're finding
Mhm.
Craigslist ads on this. So I always
Where
say,
have
and
we
my
seen that
joke,
before, Stacy? Where have we seen that before, where
Ferguson,
people are getting paid to protest?
Ferguson,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like it's any
there
riot.
were
Yeah, my
Craigslist
biggest
ads
joke.
to bust
Here, I
people
want to
in
put
that
this.
didn't even live
I just
here.
want to say my joke. When does a protest become a riot? This is my joke. When the government steps in, because they bring in the pallets of bricks. They bring in
George
right now.
Soros
You're seeing
funded a lot
shield.
of that.
Yeah.
In LA right now,
Yeah,
breaking
so
news before I even got into this conversation, right? They were finding shield boxes, $60 shields, all over the streets of LA. And they're like, there's no way that these people went to the same place and bought the same shield. And if they did, How did they know to have it in supply? So they're saying follow the money on them shields. Now, the same thing in LA that's happening, they're calling for the same protest in Chicago. That was supposed to actually start today. I don't know if it did. They're saying Saturday there's going to be a big march on DC, which is a big thing because Trump, for the 250th anniversary of the Army, decided he's going to do a show of power. Now, I want to ask the viewers out there, if this occurs, a show of power, what other countries do this? He wants to bring in all the tanks. He wants to bring in soldiers. He wants to parade them through DC like Kim Jong-un does in Korea, like Russia does with their display of power, like China does, like the dictators do. This is something I think we, the people, need to start looking at and observing. That's supposed to be happening for the 250th anniversary. I believe it's the 14th.
I think it's wise to bring this up because just today on Facebook, and I was just scrolling, not really paying attention, and someone said that there were riots already here in St. Louis, and I tried to respond. I said, I live here in St. Louis. The only thing I know about is getting, recovery efforts to the tornado victims. I don't remember. Do you guys remember protests that led to looting and fires here over the past
No.
weekend? Someone was trying to claim on June 9th that there were fires, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So maybe they're warning it that it's supposed to happen here.
I think they're
On the
trying to get what you
You're
call
hearing it here
copycats.
first, y'all.
Well, you hear copycats, right?
Yeah.
Copycat killers, copycat crimes. This
Mhm.
could be one of those that you get people that just are copycat. But there's a lot of large militant groups. I believe it's called No Kings. I have to find it. My phone's off. That they're forming a huge thing for June 14th. People don't realize that it doesn't matter what we're doing. I'm not spewing propaganda. No, I'm spewing truth. And this is all things that if you go do the research, you'll see. I say hearsay also. No proof. I'm in LA. Again, you look at the LA riots, it's not just Mexican flags, it's Palestinian flags. You're seeing all types of flags. Please, Lost Coyote, elaborate on that
That's
for
my
us.
buddy Blaine.
I
Yeah.
know. And so I want to have him elaborate because I want to know a little bit more on
What's up,
that.
Blaine?
But I have a friend that is in LA and is like, you guys don't know what's happening. You are only seeing what the news shows you. And for anybody that has known by now, like Donald Trump loves to say, fake news. If you can't see, they're going to show you what they want to show you to push an agenda.
Exactly. It's all a smoke show.
You have to look at the bigger picture.
Yep.
This again, they want racial tension because it allows for shit to happen.
And if it's
Yeah.
They
happening,
don't want
they're
unity.
pushing that on NBC, CSNBC, whatever, and all those Washington. Those are all, if you follow the trail, those are all owned by Zoros. I've watched the rabbit hole of what networks
Yep.
and who controls it, and the ones that Zoros controls, whatever they push is going down a satanic path, is what I look at, because I know
Yeah.
he's evil.
Yep.
Thank you. He's yeah. So that's why the fake news, Trump points to those networks. That's one of the
So what
things
network do we watch then?
well, you can't just stick to only Fox. I mean, you got to do your own private research. That's why I like going on YouTube and looking at private channels.
They just hit a fucking dead president on us. Again, if we're calling hearsay, I'm gonna say hearsay on that because I haven't seen any evidence.
And also on YouTube, whenever you go on YouTube, instead of just seeing whatever they find, go to your filter and look for the most recently uploaded. And that way you're not looking at the ones they're telling you to look at. You're looking at private
Current.
pages, stuff like random shit. And that's where you get some good information sometimes.
100%. I believe that's where you get the best information. Just like that's why I feel like TikTok is something they want to get rid of, and they took over because I remember being able to go on TikTok and see TikTok lives of people at the locations of what they were doing, like the riots. You would see a TikTok live. Now all that shit's getting banned, so you don't see what's going on.
Yeah, Facebook got rid of all your lives. Did you get the memo about Facebook? You only had so many days to take your lives off because they were going to delete them all. It's scrubbing. It's scrubbing. They do that. They do that to hide the truth on everything. Let's just scrub the internet, just like Macaulay Culkin's interview. I actually heard his interview about the sexual abuse, and you can't find it anywhere.
No.
Yeah, they scrubbed that all the way down to the network.
I read the whole thing played out like word for word, and it's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I heard him because there was a video that you could watch on YouTube, and it was him actually being asked the question and him responding. It was in his own words, and now it's gone.
Man.
I think they
The
do that with a lot.
Mandela effect.
So what made Diddy the target? You think he was going to turn on somebody? I just seen a video actually of Jay-Z there saying he's the informant. He had a
Oh
ring with
God, yeah.
an Apple Watch face on it, and they were cheersing, and you could see him using his pinky to adjust the camera and like go over the crowd. I was like, that's fucking wild. Like I'll show you.
I seen the one with he had the hair and he's and wearing the suit.
Yep, and he had it on his finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's insane. But then they pointed out that Rick Ross has that ring. A lot of celebrities, if you start paying attention, you'll see them at these big events, and they're all confidential informants. I'm guessing. Is that how they're staying in power? Because I always wondered how Jay-Z was quote unquote a known cocaine dealer. Got famous from that. Known for selling cocaine to all of the celebrities, and then he became a celebrity. Is that like his way of joining in? Was he became a confidential informant so he could get away with that, and he was facing a big charge? I want somebody to go down that rabbit hole because
Did you did you go down the rabbit hole about Kobe Bryant? His death in the helicopter was predicted on one of the Simpsons episodes. Maybe not
you know
Simpsons, but the South Park.
the last game of Kobe Bryant for his retirement, they gave out helicopters.
Yeah.
But they also say that he faked his death, and that there's a lot of reports that he's
So
other
he's in the
places.
witness protection program because a lot of celebrities are in witness protection. I know that.
Huh.
Honestly,
He knows some shit.
I'm disappointed. No, and I'm not surprised. Right? They are fake. She said they are fake. And are you all surprised that an industry full of money and greed is also a sick group?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I've known it for a long time.
You know what I can't wait for is the fucking mega preachers and mega pastors to get folded, like Keith Copeland or whatever his name is. All of them, like I can't wait for it to be exposed that they're into some sick shit.
Oh, Joel Osteen. Actually, a lot of them are involved with sexual trafficking. A lot of them are. I've done so much research. We could have like 5 episodes on the mega churches, but yeah, there's a lot of moving
Joel
people
Osteen, I hated him
underneath
after
the tunnels. Yeah, a lot of those churches are sitting on top of those underground tunnels.
Yeah, and it's a sick group, and it's like it goes down to the elite and whoever they want to make famous and put the spotlight on. And
Well, guess what? We want them to make us famous, right?
No,
right?
We don't want to be famous.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we want to be famous.
right here, Bluebell or the Great Divide.
You just bring us ice cream. We're not gonna do shit.
We're
not gonna. We don't need adrenochrome. Casey's fabulous already. Check out his dating profile on our new comments.
Dating. Hey, what's up, babe? I love you. Hi.
For the record, all you ladies, he was a hunk, but he's not single, so don't
Hey,
come in there. It was a
I
joke.
was showing some Stacy's naughty pictures of what Paula and I get into when we're getting naughty. Show that picture.
I didn't upload it because they wouldn't say it. I'm not showing no foot rub nasty ass. You save that foot finder and sell those feet pictures, you nasty boy. No, one thing I wanted to talk about. I actually messaged Casey. We're not going to spend too much time on this because I think we have two different views of where this is about to go, and I know Amy has viewpoints on this, so we're going to keep it in. But Lost Coyote said I would date his hair. Tell him, man, hey, shake them luscious locks. Give him a good old shake. Oh, what a pretty dog. Oh man. Oh, save that tongue for Paula. No, it's
good lapping.
I was this week I was riding down the street and I seen that they were giving out free Narcan. Okay. And it really bothered me. So I messaged Casey and I said, hey, can we talk about opioids on the show, or can we talk about junkies, is what I said. I'm gonna use the term exactly the term I used. And there you go, Noni. He's pretty just like his mama. He get it from his mama. Casey's mom has got it going on. One thing that we were talking about, and I said I don't understand how we, the taxpayer, are paying for people to die and be brought back to life. I don't if you can afford the drug to put in your body that's going to drop you dead, you can afford the medicine. That's just how I feel about it. And I know Casey kind of was like, we can talk about it. There's a lot going on. And I know that Casey's mom I want to actually save this for a show where we can bring her on, her pictures, and let her discuss hers. So I want to save that if she might be down to do that since she's here. But as far as discussing overcoming opioids, right? And I want there to be a good show about that, a positive one. But I'm going to be honest, and this isn't, when I messaged you, it wasn't for a positive message, right? Dope didn't become a problem until it struck the suburban community, okay? Let them be junkies like you labeled them since the 80s. If they want to OD, die. It's not my job to pay to resurrect a dead person. I'm paying for my potholes to be fixed that are still there, that have been there for 10 years. I'm paying for bridges to be fixed so our infrastructure is safe. I would like a high-speed railway, if possible, between St. Louis and Kansas City. Some good shit. But when you have a country that is producing drug addicts at a higher rate than we're producing doctors, we're at a problem. And we are producing them. We give you dope, whether it be Percocets, Vicodin, from the moment you have a surgery, right? We pump you full of them, pump you full of them, pump you full of them, and then say, get off of them. That's a victim, right? The person that decided to do a drug for whatever reason, to escape to whatever, I don't care. I don't look at you as a victim. I look at you as a liability and a debt. And why aren't we, the community, looking at this as a debt and not a disease? You choose to go on drugs, except for some that go through medical shit. You choose to pick this shit up.
Yeah, some people are turned into junkies because...
That is true. Then I'm not talking about them. But if that's the case, if we're going to put you on this drug for an extended period of time, there should be, at the end of that, a process of weaning you off that drug, right? The government, if we're going to put you on this, they switch you to Suboxone, right? Well, no. Why don't you put them through rehab, get them off of the dependency, get it out of their bloodstream, and reintroduce them into society, rather than putting a junkie on the street and allowing them to go get bad drugs and end up dead. Now, that's the quote-unquote victim of the society. But the people that choose to pick it up, choose to go do this on their own, why am I, the taxpayer, having to pay for your kid to go do drugs because you didn't parent them properly? Why are we doing that? Anybody?
What'd you say?
Nona says, when you have countries trying to kill your society, pumps the junkies on the street full of cheap drugs. That's why I feel that's why I'm not mad at Trump about the war on the border. Is because we need to stop the F word, Finney, coming across the border. We need to stop this. There was the war in 2011 of Afghanistan to bring back poppy. We don't understand. Our government is the supplier of these drugs.
Correct.
They're dropping them on our streets. Always, since the 80s. You've had the biggest suppliers in the world stand on the stage in federal court and say, I was supplied by the CIA. When are we, the people, going to say, we're not supporting your next get-rich scheme for your friends who decided to make Narcan, who own the companies, so the government and the cities will pay for it because the junkies can't pay for it and don't buy it. So we're going to find a way to get you rich off of it, rather than say, no, I'm going to say it like this. I had a cousin who was addicted to the H word. I remember telling his mother, if he goes, let him die. You want to get rid of your problem? Let it die. You don't, some of these diseases you can't beat, is what they say. You can, though, with willpower. You beat alcoholism. That's a choice. You chose to drink. You chose not to.
I chose not to. I chose to. It's not that easy, man. It's a disease. You don't know what it's like. I do know what it's like. If you don't like it, change it. If you can't change it, change your fucking attitude. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Say it again.
I say it. If you don't like something, you change it. You can't change it. Change your fucking attitude.
And with that said, Amy, what's your take? What are some positive vibes you want to give to the world today?
Oh gosh, where do I start? I think being aware of what's going on is the key to change. A lot of people are still asleep. Don't you agree, guys, that a lot of people don't want to see
Well,
what's
Casey
really
just
happening around them? They've got these rose-colored glasses that they refuse to take off, and it's like, come on. I know it's not fun to be awake to the madness and the really despicable things that are happening, but once you're awake, you can't go back.
And it
all of
starts by being healthy. They feed you full of this shit because they want to
Yep.
dumb you down. Even some of
Yes.
the food you eat, the fast food, the pills they have you take, the stuff they dumb you down so you have to reset yourself every day, and all you're
Yep.
thinking about is you get off of work,
Can't
slam
wait
a
for
couple
this
beers,
fix.
and you stay blind to everything. I haven't drank in, ask my wife, I don't know what, 4 years. I
It's
don't
been
even
a
keep
long
track.
time.
I
That's how
don't
you know you're
reset
not
myself
going
every
back
day.
to. You don't have to count.
I don't. I just, it was a mindset. I said, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live longer because I want to be with my wife longer and live longer. And since I did that, me and her talk every day. We work our minds. We don't reset ourselves every day. And I've been open to this shit. And once you open yourself to these paths of the Red Shoe Society and the whole Diddy thing and the Illuminati, and you realize this shit's not only real, but it's been going on for generations before you were born. This shit has been in the works,
Yeah.
and it's playing out in front of our eyes, but so slowly, like a car wreck,
Is
a
it
slow motion
slowly?
car wreck. It's slowly where we're gonna have people die that are never gonna get the answers.
What
Like,
if we're at the climax of the book though?
it feels like
This is the build-up. What if we're at the climax?
you seen Men in Black 1, Tommy Lee Jones at the very end. Son, there's always a bomber getting ready to blow up the earth. There's always
that's
something
real.
going
There's
on. There's
always some
always
shit.
a climax.
But I'm saying in this, we're at the point we're seeing a lot of this shit come to light. Are we at the climax? Are we going to see the pedo rings get torn down, dismantled, destroyed because we know that they're there? Are we going to see revolts? Are we going to see people stop paying their taxes to prove the point? The power's in the dollar. Get a couple million people to not pay their taxes to fight against something that actually pay taxes, not the people that make 30,000, but people that make 100,000 plus. I guarantee you there will be questions. They've already employed IRS agents, but I guarantee you fight fire with money.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the deepness of like, are we ever going to see the climax? Amy over here, you over here, and me over here, unless we're part of that fucking society and we're in the top ring where we're drinking the blood and we know the dirty, dark secrets, that's the only reason
Would
why
you
we
sip
can.
from the glass?
But I sip from the glass.
If it was presented to you with $10 billion behind it, would you sip from the glass?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just kidding. Of course I would. That'd be funny to say yes.
Mm.
Of course you
No. But then
would.
again, they wouldn't have any incentive. I have nothing to offer them. They grab people that are getting ready to boom in their successful career and they can influence people. And once you can influence people, they can
You
see.
influence people. If you could see how many, there you go, Casey. Word, Casey. You influence
That's my
people.
mom. My mom
No,
always
that's not your
cheers
mother.
me on. Thanks,
That
Mom.
isn't your mother. That was other people too. First off, don't discredit the lost coyote. He supports you as well, and I think
I
that they
support
should
him.
be shouted out because you would be surprised how many people you influence. You'd be surprised how many people at work, because they know we talk, that are like, man, he's a really cool guy, but he's weird. I'm like, he's himself. My favorite words are he's himself. And when I say that, not a person can deny that.
Thank you.
Because that's you. You are, and it's not weird. I think it's so honest. People don't know how to take it. And I think that you do inspire people. And I do think that you have an influence. And if they come to you and ask you to drink from the cup, would you drink from the cup?
Hell no. And because I have no fathom to drink from the cup,
I'll mix it in your
I
coffee.
would never
Don't
be in that
fucking worry.
situation. I'd be too busy at home making knives and
You heard it,
hanging out with my
guys.
wife.
You heard it, guys. Well, first, he is genuine. But I'm going to let you know now. I'll mix it in his coffee. I'm Stacy.
I'm Casey.
And
we are the Stacy and Casey Show. Peace out.
No, we're redoing that, damn it. That ain't the ending. Amy,
Oh,
you froze? You frozen, Amy?
Sorry. Amy, you there?
I'm
here.
Stacy.
I'm Casey.
And you are?
Amy.
You guys have a great night.
Peace out.